This is a short lecture about using Photoshop to remove dust and scratches from your negatives, from your scanned film projects. In many cases, of course, nowadays everything's digital and you don't have dust. But if you've been scanning old negatives or if you've been scanning old photo albums, even with a flatbed scanner, you can pick up a lot of dust, or old pictures do have dust on them. They have scratches and other defects, which can be removed fairly easily in Photoshop. So the way I start is I open my pictures in Lightroom. I adjust them with the contrast and the different kinds of features that I want them to have. Do that pretty much in Lightroom. Then I save it. Then the next thing I do is I go ahead and open it in Photoshop. Now in Photoshop, the first thing I like to do to remove the dust, you can't remove the dust automatically from the whole picture. You have to select a fairly confined area. It doesn't have to be tiny, but it has to be a well-defined area. So in this case, you go up to the left and you pick the quick selection tool, circle there in red on the upper left-hand side of the screen, and then I found a place on the image and I circled it with a quick selection tool. That pretty much will kind of select everything in pretty much the same shade. So in this case, I'm selecting everything that's dark in that particular area. I think you'll learn how to use it pretty quickly. In this case, I picked this shoulder, and because it has a lot of dust in it, okay, but I didn't pick the whole person at this point. I'll go back and repeat this step several times to get it just right. I would like to tell you that these pictures are taken in 1971 in Seville, Spain, where there was a religious ceremony going on Easter week. So these are not Ku Klux Klan people. This is a traditional Catholic ceremony in the town of Seville, Spain. So I selected the area I wanted to work with. That's the next thing I did. Then you go to the top of the Photoshop screen and you find filters and you pull down to noise, and then you pull over to dust and scratch removal. And that's going to give you this screen here over on the left. You see this preview. This is the way it's going to look when it's done. Now what dust removal does is it tends to blur that part of the picture. So you have to be pretty careful and pretty selective. That's why I say work in small elements, all right, and make sure it doesn't hurt it to be blurred a little bit, okay, to make it look a little bit out of focus. And actually you don't notice the blurring. It just kind of smooth things out. Now the way you adjust this to make sure you don't blur it too much, or that you blur it just enough to get rid of the dust, is you use this slider that I've circled in red, and you kind of just determine it. You can see the preview above that just shows you what you get. Then when you're happy with what you have, you go ahead and press OK, and then you can move on to other elements of the picture by using the quick selection tool. Now there's another neat tool that you can use, and over here on the left it's called the it looks like a band-aid, right? And it is the tool that allows you to select specific pieces of dust or specific scratches. It's called the spot healing tool. So select that tool, and then if you see up on the top, you'll see how wide the tool has become. It's called, I think it looks like mode, okay, in this case. And you can select exactly how big you want the tool to be. And then you can go over the picture and you can start just kind of stamping, clicking on the areas that need to have specific dust or specific scratches removed. So basically you have two tools. You have the tool that sort of automatically lets you get rid of the dust in the whole area, and then you have this that's a filter, that's called, and then you have this other tool, the spot healing tool, that lets you take care of specific scratches and specific dust. Well, hey, I hope this has been a little bit helpful.